Hey folks, Grant No here today for TGIF, that is, thank Grant it's Friday. Today I'm going to be discussing 4 different factors that people say make an enemy difficult, and we're going to discuss what these factors are and how we can get past these problems. The number one problem with any enemy is their moves, and that includes both their regular moves and their step backs. If everyone could counter every move of every enemy, there would never be any problem whatsoever with defeating enemies. In this case, I'm going to fight a Lupin, but let's say that you had general trouble with the enemy class Monstrosities, which would include Lupins, Wretches, anything of that type. If you had trouble with that class, because you don't know how to respond, you don't know how to dodge, you don't know how to parry their moves, then inevitably you're not going to do well in the battle. My suggestion to counter this inability to understand the moves is, number 1, practice makes perfect. I know people don't like generally hearing that, but it's a fact. The more that you practice with a certain class of enemy, perhaps just restarting the battle over and over again and not giving up, the more you'll learn and take away from that battle to bring back into it next time in the form of skill. Another way that you can learn an enemy's moves is by watching video tutorials online. And I know that many other IBM members have done many video tutorials online, and I can't stress enough how helpful those are. If you watch other people's videos, you can memorize an enemy's moves and how that person is countering those moves so that you can apply that to your own battle. Those would be my primary suggestions for how you would counter an enemy's moves. Here you can see that I'm battling Rith, and Rith is said to be the epitome of the hardest enemy in Infinity Blade 2 by many beginning players. Why is that? Well, it's Rith's strength and Rith's health, but primarily Rith's health, because you can see as you're fighting him, the number there to the right of his health bar is just daunting. It's amazing how much health he has. So this brings me to my second most common problem in Infinity Blade with the enemy battles, and that is health. When an enemy has a lot of health, it intimidates a player. But let's remember that health does not equate to skill. Oftentimes, tip number 1 can be applied to this tip as well, and that's just knowing an enemy's moves. Because if you know Rith's moves, then his health is not so important. It just sustains the battle for a little bit longer, but you're not fighting that hard of an enemy. It's like if you changed, say, an MX Defender's health to be 3 times the length. That doesn't make the MX Defender any more difficult, it just makes the battle a little bit longer. So, try to apply an enemy's moves and tips for that, and videos for that, to the battle, and then you'll have less of a struggle with the actual health. Of course, if one of your major concerns is how long a battle is because you fear messing up during the battle, then one obvious way to correct the length of the battle is to shorten it by having more attack. And that means taking things out of health, out of magic, out of shield, whatever you use the least, and applying it to attack. Because obviously, the more attack you have, the faster it'll drain your enemy's health bar. Some people are completely comfortable with all of an enemy's health and all of the enemy's moves, but the problem is sometimes they just do it a little too quickly. A common example of this, or common examples I should say, are the MX Stealth, Wood Jester, and Plated Sorok, who all have certain combinations of moves that happen occasionally that make it hard for the player to parry and dodge them with the proper timing. Again, oftentimes this just comes down to practice, but there are different types of dodging where you can dodge a little sooner on some moves so that you're more prepared to dodge the next move when it comes around. So keep that in mind when you're trying to dodge an enemy. You can see that right here. You just need to dodge a little bit more quickly, because once you dodge more quickly, you'll be more prepared to dodge or parry the next move. The fourth and final most frequent problem that people have with Infinity Blade 2 enemies is their brute strength. Here I'm about to fight the Bog Giant, who is synonymous for his brute strength. Perhaps you're a master at all the moves, at the health, and at the speed of every enemy, but occasionally you just made stupid mistakes. This happens to many players, and it's as a result of you playing for a long time, but still not mastering every single enemy. My suggestion here, if you're not already all attack or low health, is to reduce the amount of health that you have and apply it to attack. Not only will this help with the other areas that we're having trouble with, but it will also force you to take less damage, because ultimately, if you take less damage because you have less health, then you'll die less frequently. So that's my suggestion to you for this. And from there, it's practice. I know sometimes it can become extremely annoying when you have less health or zero health at all, and you die a lot more frequently, but after you've done it for a while, I can guarantee you, speaking from my own experience, that you will learn more about each enemy, and you will die, make less stupid mistakes, less frequently. And that will most certainly help with an enemy and their brute strength. Besides an enemy's moves, health, speed, and strength, perhaps you have another area of concern that you're having trouble with enemies. Let us know in the comments, and maybe we can help you out. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to the Infinity Blade Masters. Have a nice Friday.